Can a social media ban for under 16s actually work in the UK? Now, I completely get this argument, and in an ideal world, yes, sign me up. I made enough videos about the negative impact social media is having on our young people. It's this addictive object literally rewiring our brains. Now, in an ideal world, a ban would be great. But for me, if I'm thinking about it, is it actually going to be achievable? And that's something I'm not sure of. So firstly, this isn't about the kids. Social media as a concept, I think, is a positive thing. The problem we've got is that the business practices of these platforms are built to keep everyone, children, adults, hooked. The infinite scroll, streaks, notifications going off all the time, algorithms that feed you what will keep you watching, not what keeps you well, keeps you sane. So what are the government actually doing? They've announced a 3-month consultation looking at extra measures to keep children safe online, including the option of banning social media for under 16s, raising the digital age of consent. They're also talking about restrictions on addictive features and bringing in new screen time guidance. And in schools, they've updated phone guidance and basically said, we want a phone-free school day, which honestly, I don't know many schools that aren't already doing that. Now, we know Australia's already done this. They've passed a law setting a mandatory minimum age of 16 for accounts on certain platforms, which came into effect in December. The key bit is that the platforms are responsible, not the kids, not the parents. Companies have to take reasonable steps to stop under 16s having accounts, with big fines if they don't. But from what I'm reading, it's a bit sort of messy at the minute. It's still a bit too early, I think, but a lot of children are easily going around it with fake birthdays, VPNs, new accounts, and people are already warning that it can push young people towards less regulated corners of the internet. So if the UK copies Australia, we've got to think carefully about this. A ban isn't a magic switch, it's an enforcement problem. If a ban is going to work, it needs proper age checks, not a tick box. But the moment you do that, there are privacy data concerns. And without Apple or Google enforcing it at a device level, kids will always find a workaround. The real risk is uneven enforcement, pushing behaviour underground into riskier spaces and never actually fixing the product, just moving the problem somewhere else. You know, it's almost like banning energy drinks, but leaving the vending machine full of them in a corridor, turning the lights off and going, right, we've sorted that problem. Now, looking at this, I think one of the most important changes we can make, and I think the first thing we need to do is actually regulate the companies. It's put a ban on these addictive design features aimed at young people, the autoplay, the infinite scroll, the streaks, the aggressive notifications, and then actually have proper consequences when these platforms fail to do what they're saying they're doing. Not this turn a blind eye, oh yeah, we'll look into it. No. Let's hold them accountable and doing that age assurance properly where it matters, not just sort of building a surveillance state. Now, just from a teacher's point of view, I find it so frustrating that Ofsted now are going to be coming in judging schools on phone bans, because I saw an inspector who was literally salivating, licking their lips, getting so giddy at the prospect of being able to pick schools apart on something else. You know, what have we all been crying out for? Another thing for schools to be judged on. Do you know what I mean? We've all been sat there going, this job's a bit too calm at the minute. Because here's the thing, what's ridiculous about it is every school's on the same side with phones. We know they're a nightmare. We know they're causing so many issues, increasing our workload. So we act upon it. We've already got the policies in place. The fact that this is going to be an inspection angle is just going to further create more pressure. And it just screams trust issues. I mean, what's next? Are Ofsted going to start inspecting how staff microwave their lunch? It's ridiculous, because I have yet to come across a single teacher in this country who thinks children having mobile phones in school is a good idea, unless, of course, it's for medical reasons or whatever it might be. You know, I might eventually get through a video without having to have a bit of a moan about Ofsted. So should we ban social media for under 16s? Yeah, but how that can be done without fundamentally changing the business practices of the platforms? And if we do it, it's got to be realistic, enforceable and safe, because we don't regulate the platforms themselves. We're basically telling kids, good luck. Try not to get addicted to a system designed to addict you. And that's not safeguard. I also think we need to look at the way childhood has changed over the past few years and how children have fewer opportunities to go outside, to socialise and to get a sense of community in the real world, because social media has filled that gap and children's mental health has been exploited in the process. But I'd love to know what you think. Would a ban work? I'd love it, but whether it's actually achievable, I'm not sure. Regulation would be better in my eyes. And who do we actually trust to enforce it? The government, the platforms, or the children and parents?